Hello, everyone. Welcome to KTL Connect. Today is Saturday, and this week we will be talking about our experience as a refugee immigrant. My name is Mumu.
And my name is Poe.
My name is Jojo.
We can hear you, December. Can you just, yes, good now.
Can you hear?
Yes, good now.
Yes, my name is December.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Eckler.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in today. And the first thing we talk about is our experience, how we became refugee.
So my name is Poe, and how I live in St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm a youth advocate in the community, and how did I become a refugee? So it started with a conflict between the Burmese military and the Korean people, the conflict, and then that's how my parents are the victim of the war, also known as the longest civil war, and then so my parents flee from the war, and then they came to the border between Burma and Thailand, and then that's how I was born in the border, and then that's how it started. My parents immigrating there as a refugee, and then from there.
My name is Jojo. I don't remember much, but then from what I heard, it's the same cause due to the civil war in Myanmar that have been going on between the ethnic and the current dictator. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
um, my dad was used to he was, how would I say, in the old day during the war, especially male, they were forced into like war labor, and then my dad was a victim of that. And then later we moved to Thailand, just to find a, a life, But then it didn't work out, so eventually we had to move into a refugee camp.
Okay.
I believe my reason is also the same as those two brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I personally doesn't have to experience those, but my parents, yes, because of the military pressure, persecuted, like those kind of stuff, killing. My parents, all my family have to move to refugee camp. Before they move to the camp, like they have to move one place to another. Like there is so many challenges for them, but I do not have to go through any of those. Like because I was born in refugee camp.
Okay. So, because of we having internet issue here a little bit, so can you hear the question?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Sorry for the connection. Um. Well, for me, I was born in a war field. So actually, I was born in 1984. That's when there's a lot of better, and there's a lot of civil wars going on every day. You can hear like a gunshot, all the bombs, different landmines, like a big gunshot, and then we had to run all the time. We had to seek shelter, especially in the mountain, for a safe place. And so my parent, especially my mom, she's a she's the one that became a refugee. Uh, because my dad was in a Catholic KNLA army, so he's the one that when I was born, I never saw him because he always on duty. My mom we had to carry, us, all my siblings for safety place. And that's the my parents became a refugee because of the civil war, because of the Burma, and come to terrorize our land, kill people. That's their main goal. That's how my parents and me became a refugee. And I actually live in a refugee for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Before I live in a refugee, I was living in a IDP, which is a temporary camp, which is not like actually a refugee camp. I lived there for a couple of years, at least 2 years, during like a 2000 and to 2003. And that's when I moved to a refugee camp, to have a school, to have a stable school, because in a refugee camp is a safer. You can go to school there, you can do activity there in the camp. Because if you stay in a shelter, temporary shelter, it was in a current state, which is in Burma, which is not safe. We don't know when you're gonna have to run. Yeah, and I live in a refugee camp for 5 years before I moved to this country. So that's was it.
Thank you. So, as you can see, we all came from refugee camp, but slightly different because, like Sakura, he wasn't born in refugee camp, but like December thought she was born in refugee camp. What about Poet? Were you born in refugee camp as well? And Jojo?
Yes, I was born in the refugee camp in Thai hospital.
Okay.
I was actually born in Myanmar in the current state. When I
Uh-huh.
was around very little, we moved to the Thailand like way back. I think that's when we never know about the refugee camp before when
Mm-hmm.
when we moved to the Thai area.
Mm-hmm.
So later, after the moving, although you move to Thailand, you're still like immigrant, but then you're not fully accepted as their citizen there. So the work or like just general living or like even schooling is really hard in living just in Thailand or just like as
Mm-hmm.
immigrant that don't have the Thai citizen. So eventually moved to refugee camp around, I believe it was 2003 or 2004, around there as well.
Okay. Okay. So how long each of you been in refugee camp? Because Sokler or Korean, he been in refugee camp like 4 to 5 years. So what about you guys?
I've been in a refugee camp for 12 years.
For-
That's, yeah.
I was there for 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
I was there like 12 years as well. Yeah.
Right, because you were born in there. Yes, I went to refugee camp when I was 15. So I've been in there for like 6 years. Until I came to US. So as you know, Thailand has hosted refugees from Burma, or it's also known as Myanmar, for more than 3 decades. So some people they're just born in refugee camp, and some people went to refugee camp when they were very little. So it's very bad. It is like the refugee camps are 3 decades, like more than 3 decades old, and currently, there are like 9 main refugee camps in Thailand-Myanmar border, and more than 86,000 people live in those refugee camps, and that is many refugee people in Thailand-Myanmar border. So thanks for sharing your experience. And now, before we go to this, I just want to show like a little picture about refugee camp, because some people might not know how the refugee camp look like. So in refugee camp, we were taken care by the UN refugee agency, UNHCR, and these are like a typical refugee camp, like the houses, almost like tent, but like, yes, we call it houses because we've been in there long enough. Yep. So now, from refugee camp, how did we get to America? So you guys want to share about this?
Yeah, so it started, I think, from IO or like the UN came for a sponsorship to take the immigration to the US. So that's when my family got selected for the process, and then from there, my dad, the household person, will do like interview and then give names and stuff, and then from there we wait for like a couple months, and then we've been transferred to Bangkok to start our boarding process to the US. And then from Bangkok we stayed there for like 7 days to do like tests or like you know any anything that, so we don't have to, pretty much to give us a clear background to go to the US. From there we boarded the flights to the US.
Uh, for me, I think it's pretty similar. We did a lot of like like we when we first got there, there's a like opportunity where they came to like just to open the opportunity for the refugee that want to go to like US in general. So my cousin was already here, so like we've been getting in, my parent are getting in touch with my cousin here, and then we know how it's like here. So we really want to have move to a better place. It's not easy to in refugee camp. So we apply, and then we went with the process, um, just to like health check and background check and all the stuff. And then finally, when we get selected, the day to came to US, like all the same, I guess, right from refugee camp to Bangkok. In there was actually like a couple people that actually helping us through the process to came into to US. So there's a couple interesting things that happened while the process of getting to where like Minnesota, where we are now. So we have like very little money that we exchange to US dollar. So we can use like some water or snack if we are hungry on the way. So in the process of exchanging, we don't fully know our way around with the exchanging the currency and stuff. So we asked help from one of the worker that actually is supposed to take us to US. So he actually like like how I say trick us with the exchange rate. We supposed to get, we supposed to get like a couple hundred, but we only end up getting like couple dollar or tens of dollar. So but then we didn't say anything. Just how we keep quiet. I think it might be because of how our current people nature are, especially in the time like that. We as a refugee and we're trying to get help. So whatever help in a way we get, either people lie to us or not, we just keep quiet. We don't say anything. Although we knew that like he actually tricked us with the money, but then we didn't say anything. All the way to the come to the Chicago, another area is like I don't know, maybe we have like a big appetite in a way. They give us food and stuff, and it wasn't satisfying, So we they put ice and stuff in the hotel and stuff, but then another interesting thing happens that we don't know how to find the hot water. They leave the coffee back, so we end up making coffee with the ice. That's a couple of things. They give us like a box of meal, like just a small box, like rice and chicken. I don't know. I have like really big appetite back in the day. I still do. So we make a random stuff out of the day. So yeah, that was kind of really good memory in a way.
Right, good memory to laugh about. What about you, Dimmu? Do you have a thought?
Yeah, that was funny. As he talked about his journey, I remember my father a little bit. I'll share it later. So actually, like the process basically the same as per air. So we like at the time it was pretty hard to get accepted and come to United States because like there's a bunch of people to like make it a fast process. Like they all want to come to the United States because life in
Mhm.
refugee is so challenging.
Yes.
It was like we are in refugee camp. We don't have much opportunity like job. We're gonna say like better life in refugee camp, but it's not that better, but it's
Mhm.
okay. I'm gonna say the education is okay. Like not many opportunity, not job. Like there's no job at the city. It's very like it's very rare. Like it's so little, so not everybody can find money to live. Uh,
Mhm.
and for food, um, we only get like a limited food. So people from above they came and give us food. Like it's so limited. Like we all have to share like the whole refugee. Like there's a lot, so we only get like so little. And even to build our own shelter, the house, like the whole house, we only get um like a couple of tree. It's not gonna be enough for our like the whole house, and even the wood it's not enough for everybody because we all have to share. So yes, so at the time a lot of people were like this is not good for us, so all people rushing and to come to United States. And before we came we have to fill out the application, we have to go take photo ID, um, and after that we have to wait a little like I don't know how long we have to wait. But so our time is coming. We have to go for DHS and we do the background checkup, doctor, what's that? Doctor checkup, like those kind of stuff.
Medical check.
Yeah, medical check, physical examination. So it was a long process, and I don't know how many days we have to go there, and then we have to go back. And if our medical check is show up clear, we have to wait and redo that again. So after all of those process, we can come to United States and we get the ROM back. Like I still have those. Yeah, yeah, I believe my mom still have those. We get ROM back per per family, and we also get a little sheet. So that is have like a public stuff. I don't know what is it called, but they told us when you when you need help, you show this, you show them this picture, you point at this picture.
Mhm.
So when we're in your flight, so and then we're gonna get out in airplane and get out to the car, go to the car. So we don't know which way to go. So my mom or dad, like I remember, they were pointing at those, and none of those passenger doesn't understand. So we just have to wait there. Like we were waiting for a very long hour to meet our caseworker. Um, back back in Thailand before I arrived in United States. Like just I'll say there's funny story too. So my dad, like we doesn't know like how is like what stuff do the people use in city in a big city. So like there's a pack of hand sanitizer. We were looking at it. Like, we don't know. Like my dad was like, "What is it?" And my brother, on the other hand, if he doesn't know, just say he don't know. Like he told my dad it was a gum. So so my dad have it. Like it's not a gum. It's like a sanitizer. So yeah. And also ramen, we are in the airplane. In the airplane, they give us food. They don't give us rice, but they give us a box of ramen, and we just we just have to open his hat, and then we put the seasoning all of it, and then we put the hot water, and then my dad he opened it all, and then he started to eat it. And then later on, air flight attendant came, and then he she's gonna pour the water in the pot, and there's no more ramen. And then my dad was, can we switch? So yeah, that's funny. Like it was a long process. Yeah, thank you.
That's really funny. Okay, so Corinne, can you share with us about your experience coming to US? Oh, he's gone. Oh, I think he's accidentally.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm. Hello. He's having internet issue.
Yeah, the process for me to come to America was very difficult for me because
So oh, he's gone. I think it's the internet drop. So we all have like funny like experience about coming to US, and the process pretty much the same. Like normally it take like 2 to 3 years of process, and we apply resettlement through International Organization for Migration, IOM, the UN Migration Agency. That's why when we come to US, we came to US. You guys remember we all have that big IOM bag, that one. So the process is that like you apply for coming to United States. You submit all your documents, everything. Then they will call you for an interview within refugee camp, because they have IOM staff in refugee camp, in different refugee camps. So after that, the second process, you go to inside Thailand, like the city, for medical check. After medical check, they also interviews you and background check everything. And once all of those done, they send you a letter that they accept you, like from Washington DC or somewhere. And after like 2-3 months, you prepare, and then you got to come to US. But then like I said, nothing's free, because before we come, we already took off like travel loan and everything. As soon as we got to US, we have to like start looking for a job and get into like ESL class, English as second language class, and then get to work and pay back your loan and everything. So it's not like everyone think that we got everything free. And I wanted to also share about like funniest like thing we encounter when we on the way to US. We never been on a flight, and we never been to like hotel and stuff like that. Although I was born in Myanmar, I live in like very poor area, and I never been to like big city and never experienced that. So as you know, this is refugee camp. There is like no running water or like electricity. So I remember when we got to like Bangkok, we have to sleep there overnight, and the next day we will like take a flight to, I think, Hong Kong in exchange, and to Los Angeles, and then Dallas to Houston. And when we were sleeping like Bangkok, they put us on like a very nice hotel, like 5-star hotel with the jacuzzi bath, and the bed like made it very nice. And like in hotel, that they tuck in all the blankets and stuff. We were so dumb. We're like, where is the blanket? Why is a nice hotel doesn't have any blanket? And the AC was so cold, and we don't know how to like turn it, down, and we don't know anything. So even like shower in jacuzzi was really awkward. We get into there with our like sarong and put it on here and just shower like that. And then at the night, we don't know like there's the blankets already there, so we just like squeeze in there, me and my brothers and my mom. It's just like there is no blanket whatsoever. Actually there's blanket there. And the other funny thing was, actually it's also like sad a little bit, because like Jojo saying, you exchange your money to get water or whatever stuff, because we have no money. And I have no idea that we can do that. So before we like pack when we pack everything and before we leave refugee camp, we just give away everything, including my iPod, my computer. Like I didn't know that I can bring them. Like some very nice people from Australia, they gave me a really nice iPod. At that time, nobody has it in refugee camp. I was so proud. In the computer, like my laptop, I give them all away, and we have cash and stuff like that. We leave all of them, and on the flight, $0, nothing, and we even don't know like how to use like the fountain, like the water fountain. So we didn't know that there's like water that you can drink from there. So there was a family, and December Thursday, we were starving because they didn't serve like rice rice on the flight, and we eat rice most of the time, so that's the main food. And we don't know how to eat other like culture food. And the juice box that they give us, like apple juice box, at that time I feel like disgusting because to me it smelled like ant. I was like, why they smell like ant? I don't want to drink it. So that's the thing. And when we got to Los Angeles, and the kids, some families have like very like small like kids, like maybe 1 or 2 years old. They were starving because they don't know, they're not used to with like different food like they serve on the flight. So they did not eat anything. They were starving. We have no money, and we didn't know where to get the water. And even there's like airport, they do sell water, but we don't have money, and we didn't know that you can drink water from the fountain. So we don't speak English, so they went to the bathroom, and they just flushed the bathroom, like the toilet bowl water, and they just drink. It was sad, it was sad, kind of like, yes, I want to laugh, and also at the same time it was very sad. Like the kids were starving, we don't know like where to get the water whatsoever. Yeah, that was the experience coming from refugee to United States. So, thanks. Let's move on to another one. What are the differences between living in refugee camp and America?
That's there's so many difference between the America and refugee camp, and the biggest thing is probably you have to work every day in America to survive pretty much. But compared to refugee camp, you got help from the Thai government. So like food, rice, and those type of stuff are provided. But in the US, that's a different thing. And also the main different one is definitely the language barrier between speaking Korean and English. Because as a refugee, like coming to the US, first year was so hard, and especially for me going to school, it was really hard. But all the Korean kids that been here before me made it easier, trying to help me translate and get adapt to the school. But yeah,
Yeah, the difference as Paul mentioned, like you have to work for sure when you're age. And I think like another thing is like the opportunity here and there is like way different opportunity that are granted for like especially for the younger generation here, and the younger generation back in the refugee camp. Because like I remember you know, including myself, a lot of kids like have to work for the daily uh, life just to like make money or like just to eat, get a proper meal back in camp. Um, but then here is like there's a lot of opportunities, especially when you first got here. They the government support you with like free school, and for even for the rent they support you, and even for the food in general they support you with the EBT and stuff, just to just for you to get adapt into the US. And then the older people will eventually like start working. There will be an agency here that will help the especially the elderly people without any English, like, with a language barrier. They will get support just to get them like get a proper job that suit them with you know. So that's one thing. And then as I mentioned for especially for the kid and youth, I think that's one reason why more parents decide to bring their kid to US as well, the opportunity, better future, you know, which we don't get in the camp. Which we don't have them back in our mother. So that's one thing that different for sure. Like language, like a huge thing when we first got here. But like for the younger generation with the school and everything, like eventually we catch up with the language barrier, but it's still really difficult for our parents. And then I think that one more thing that I wanted to mention is different is like culture, but then in a way also like how our, you know, back in the camp we know everybody in the,
Mm.
especially our own like zone or whatever it is. Right here, like there's like security, privacy, and a lot of stuff like play in role in the US, you know, the safety and something like that. That sometimes if you live in the house, you end up not even knowing your neighbor. So
Mhm.
that's kind of really sad, especially for our elderly people, because like they they tend up becoming like you know, this the area of um their life area is started to become, their world is starting to become a little smaller than for you would be like going out with a friend or whatever, dry, just
Right.
bored and everywhere, you know, which is like they it's really a good place for them. But then yeah, but nowadays like we start to have open up and build like in like, our community been here for a while. We start to like
Mhm.
connection and build a community in a way where our parent can have their own way as well, which is a great thing. And then I think which is also improving. Yeah.
Good.
Why there's so many different things between living in refugee camp and American. Um, yeah, so one of the thing is like when we are visiting our friend house in a camp, we're gonna take off our shoe. So that's kind of like a culture's thing to do. And but when we're in American, we can have our shoe on. I don't. That is one of the culture thing I believe. Cause like when we're in the camp, when we wear shoe, we step on the ground. Like it's not nice and clear in here. Maybe in United States, maybe if there is any in case of emergency stuff, they have their shoe on so they can run. So like those kind of stuff. And the other one that different is um, American is taking care of their grass. Like so not like not like us. So we doesn't really care about grass at all. So we in a camp like there's no grass, like just a little bit like rare. But when we're in United States, our grass looking nice and clean. But like, especially Korean people, like whoever live in the house, like buy a house, good look like every most not everybody like most of the Korean house gonna be a messy, just like how we live in the camp. Like, you can check it. At least one thing gonna be behind in a backyard or something. And
Mm-hmm.
also there's another difference between living in the camp and American. Where we are when we are visiting our friend, we can stay and sleep over at their house. But in United States, like it's not like that. We sleep in hotel or something. Even like I can see even American culture, like American culture, there's even though they are kid, some of them they sleep at when they visit back their parents, they sleep in hotel, but they don't sleep at their parent house. But as our culture, we can sleep however in our parent house as well. Yeah, there's so many different like there's much more.
Yeah, definitely. There's a if we have to talk about it, it's there's so many to talk about it. So we can talk about maybe more later on. So I think like there's a lot of different things. Like definitely because refugee and United States, totally different. But like in refugee camp, like you are stateless, like you don't have any you're not belong to any citizen. You don't have your like citizenship identification, or you can have your passport and travel feel freely. In refugee, you're just like under the care of the UNHCR, which they give you limited amount of everything, food and supplies. Like you say, to build your house, you just got like numbers of bamboos or like the log to make your house. And nowadays they even have to purchase them, because I still have like two brothers family in refugee camp, and every summer there's like, can you help, I need to buy like leaf for my roof, I need to buy more log like to rebuild my house. They don't get it enough. And sometimes it's like, can you help, because we don't have enough rice. Right now I hear that when we are refugee camp, like every month we went to like the food, what do they call, like where they store the food, sorry, the rice storage, or where you get like your food supplies like every month. But nowadays I heard that they got like card, like they can purchase, but then limited. So uh sometimes they ask me like, can you have help me like buy more rice, because we don't have enough this month. So there's a lot of like different thing. And even refugee camp, everything's limited. Your freedom, your education, and like pretty much like when you graduate, you just go to like post 12, what they call post 12, like, or a vocational school, stuff like that. And you just like work in community as a medic or as a nurse or as a teacher, and that's it. You don't have like the option like to go to school like as an engineer or as a like computer science or a doctor or stuff like that. So very very limited. And in US you get like so many options. And so and also like I want to mention like refugee camp, or even like back home, we don't have government system like taking care of the season. Like Jojo mentioned in here, like if you are really in need of help, you can apply for maybe food assistant or medical assistance, so this like government taking care of the citizen. And there's the differences back home, like yeah, there's no system in place like this, which is very tough. And there's like many reasons that our parents decided to come to United States. One is like we've been in refugee camp long enough. Like December, though, you say you were born in refugee camp, you were there for 12 years, so that's like very long. I was there like 6 years, but there was like 4 to 5 years, and Jojo also 4 to 5 years there's like very long time, like many years. And that is one of the reason like we have no hope like to be able to go back to our country. And it was like we've been here, how long you guys been here in United States?
I've been here for 11 years.
11 years.
I think I'm here for about 13 years. I think.
13 years. What
I'm
about you?
11.
11. Okay, so me too, I'll be here close to 11 years. So you see, like, even though we've been here like almost like a decade, and now whatever happened in Burma, like the coup and the war, like the whole Burma is in a war zone. So you see, that is one of the reasons, like parents have to make a very tough decision. Like they love their country, they want to stay there, but then there's like no hope for our future. That's why we came to United States. So is there anything else you guys want to add to this?
One thing that I just want to add, especially for refugee camp, is like I know like it sound like there are things like especially the thing that really struck me is like they have a plan, which is to keep the refugee go out of the street.
Mm.
Like, how limited that the supply that they supply, and oftentimes are it's not for the family, as how you mentioned, like sometimes like nowadays we can ask help from them, like especially a relative from the US stuff. But in the old day, like refugee camp is still surrounded by mountains and stuff. We need to get out to hunt or find veggie just to end our daily supply of
Yes.
the living. Especially even what you mentioned with this stuff for building a house, but it's not enough. Sometimes you gotta go out to like get those or tree out in the jungle, but then all those things are still restricted in a way as well, to just to find your own food, hunt for your own food.
Mhm.
You have to go on the fence, but then there's like, to me, like there's the help. We gotta sneak. We gotta do what we gotta do to just to get past and to fulfill the need of the family. So that's
Right.
one different thing. A refugee camp is in general. It's kind of, if you look at in general, it's almost like a cage in a way, with the metal like wire fence and something like that. But then it's still better than what our parents have to go through, because there's no
Mhm.
at the current time. That's one thing, that cool opportunity that we just
Right.
fill up by time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yes. It's very like tough in refugee camp, but no matter what, it's still better than running in the jungle. So that is one of the things that we appreciate about like refugee camp. Like if you have to compare to living in inside Burma and being chased by the Burmese soldier all the time. So thanks. Let's move on to this one. So, what kind of culture shock do you guys experience? As a new, like when you first came to US, or even until now.
There are a couple many culture shock that I experienced, and of course my parents and sibling as well. But one of them is definitely the food.
Mm-hmm.
When we first got here, it was like not the Korean traditional culture food that we usually have, like in
Mm-hmm.
refugee camp. But as we live here for long enough, we started to find like Asian store market where it doesn't get as bad, just because Korean people that been here way before us started to set up a shop, got the stuff from Thailand, so that's good. And then another thing is the transportation. We usually walk, travel by foot, but in America, you had to go to like hospital or school. Like it by walking, it took like 30 minutes or an hour. So we started had to learn to drive. So that's another thing. That was a challenge. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, in America, you drive everywhere.
Yeah,
I think like the other thing would be like uh, one more thing that would like I was just like most of the stuff like I would just like to add on. I think like would be like how I say it's especially clothing, and then when
Mm-hmm.
also like the respect of the woman privacy, or like women or like even respect of our elderly people. I think like it's kind of different
Mm-hmm.
from from and here when we first got here. I think also December thought also mentioned about like the shoe. We always take out our shoe when we get into the our house, or like even a guest house. And
Mm-hmm.
another thing is like, how was it back in from where we grew up, the how I mentioned like the respect of our parent and elderly people, like how we, we would never step over any people, especially elderly people. When we walk in front of them, like we would lower our head, show,
Mm-hmm.
we would never get across between these two people talking, and then I think here, like that's one thing that is a little bit different, especially for us. And I think another thing that I would like to add would be, how was it? Based on how we been through in the camp, or in how our life back home, we hunt when we
Mm-hmm.
can. When
Yeah.
we got, there's a lot more everywhere. Sometimes, like a lot of like our elderly people uh, doesn't know any more right that they have here in US, as most of them like end up violating when they first got here because they don't know. You know,
Yes, hunting.
so
We have no regulation over there compared to here. So, right.
and a true story. My buddy just actually got fired from work for killing a squirrel. I'm like, yeah, I had to go in the office and explain. I was like, I had to make an excuse. Like we used to live in a jungle, and this is like a normal nature thing for us. So as far as I can explain it to them, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's a different, like a lot different culture shock too. Like Tita say when he mentioned respecting about our parents. As our culture, we never call our parents' name. Like
Mm,
even until when we grow up, like me personally, like I never call my mom or dad name. Even my brother, people older than me. So especially like you, Momo A,
mm.
I wouldn't call that. Like I would call you Ma, like big
Yes, that's
sister
how we refer
or
to each
sister. Yeah. So in American, it's different. We can call the name. I remember there's a time my mom teacher, ESL teacher. So I call her by name because like even though she is old and I'm young, so
other.
like we're gonna call each other name and we're gonna be like friends. So my mom was like, "She's older than you. Why do you call her like, by name? Like those kind of stuff." Another like culture shock. And there's
Mhm.
another one, greedy. I remember. So when in here people are greedy, and when they see each other, they were greedy by hug, right?
Mhm.
So like, I remember when I first came to United States. There's a friend. He is so pretty. Like, he's so nice and friendly. So when I walked in the school and then he was like, "Hi, December." He was so excited and then he tried to give me a hug, and then I run away like too far to give him hug back. So that yeah, that's the greeting. And another culture shock is like school. When we go to school in United States, gender it doesn't matter. We're gonna in class we can say it next to whoever we want to say it. But in our culture, men for the boy is separate. For the man is one side, and for the woman is one side.
Mhm.
And also, as we grow up and we are turning 18 in United States, we are on our own. We are independent. We can do however we want. But in our culture, like my brother is already 30. He's still living with my mom. Um, yeah, those kind of stuff. And when we're turning 18, we American try to find a job and pay their own bill, those kind of stuff. But for our culture, we ask money. We ask our parents for money. Even like going to college. The United States American they save up for their money and pay their own. Get it alone, those kind of stuff. But in current, when they can't do anything, like our parent doesn't know much and doesn't prepare for much, so we have to accept those kind of coaching paid, and we have to bring our own stuff too. If possible, like, if we are in here earlier, probably, of course, our parent gonna pay for us, like this kind of stuff.
Right. Yes. There's too many like culture shock when I came to United States. The first things like when I land to when I landed United States, it was a shock because you always have certain image about America. I always have the image of nice houses and clean neighborhood, but then when they drop me off in Houston, Texas, Ranchester, there's like the very like I probably like not very nice part of the city because Houston has many like affluent places that are very nice, but yes, it's okay that the place not affluent, but like the apartment was like very dark gray, big, huge, and then all the around the fence was like very tall grasses, and I was like, geez, is it America or did they drop me in a wrong country? This is not what I think. I'm kind of like worried a little bit, because I thought, did I get into the wrong plane or something like that? But no, yeah, it was American. It was like where I was in when I was in refugee camp, I didn't know that America would be like this diverse, because when I got to Houston, I don't see like any white people. Like I see mostly like Vietnamese, Chinese, Korean, and the area that I live is like mostly like Hispanic and a lot of like different ethnic from Myanmar, like Chin, Karenni, and Kachin, and like you know. Just different, but like very diverse. So that was like surprising to see that what I thought and what I actually see is like different. So that is the thing. And the second thing is like uh when I came to US, I became like suddenly like very shy because of like the language barrier. I used to be like very outspoken person, and even like when I was in like um like high school stuff like that, a lot of my friends was like they were like, you're just so noisy, like we can see your body but your voice like everywhere. They call me like cricket, because I'm very tiny where I talk a lot. But in America I just like stop like talking because I'm so afraid that I even like stop making eye contact because I'm afraid that if I look at someone talk to me and I don't know how to respond, that'd be like, so that was even like my first 4 years in college. I didn't really make any friends because I was very like, I think, too cautious about the way I speak, or maybe I'm just like overthinking that maybe people may not understand me, kind of like that. So yeah, that's just the many of a few because like you say, we might have many, but yeah, that is the thing. So is there anything more that you guys want to share, like add to this culture shock thing? Or
I just agree with all of what you guys are saying. And it's so true, and especially like you, the host. Every time I have to mention you, and I always say like Sister May. I don't call you by your name. It just feel weird and uncomfortable. So
I
every
know.
and then and like December said, like you don't call your parents by
Mm-hmm.
their name, and even your brother and siblings. So that's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, what Chacha said about respecting elders and like the way we dress, and that was a culture shock for me too. Like first time I went to the park and on the beach, I see like people are like half naked. Like, this is look at these American people. So yeah, that's true.
I know it's normal, but for us, like we shy to look at them, right?
We
Because
swim with like our clothes on with our pants,
yeah,
but we get adapt to it slowly.
yeah, we get into assimilate into the culture
Yeah.
slowly. So
Another thing that I would like to add is like, especially like how we respect our elder. We oftentimes as a young like kid or youth, when we see elder in a struggle or like stuff in, like in need of help, we just rush to help. One time I went to one of the baseball game and I saw one of the American old men. He was like struggling and then he fell. So I rushed just to help him, get up, just help. And he just looked at me like so mean, like yell at me. He's like, okay, I just stepped back. And then my cousin explained to me and like this kind of like they have like culture barrier and stuff in that, especially with helping in those kind of situations and stuff. So I just later like it's started to restrict me just to like reach out to like even to help, especially like the different race people that are from different race from me because like they have their own culture and that thing that we don't understand. We have good intention, but then sometimes they don't understand us. That is end up becoming like some misunderstanding between.
yeah, misunderstanding.
Another thing that I would like to add is like I think especially very first couple of years we got here, I think a lot of issues that came up with, especially how our parent discipline their kid. I think in our own culture, like I think like especially in our parents, they believe like for a kid to remember their mistake, I still gotta go into their back so for them to remember their mistake, or else they will just keep repeating it. I think
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes here like our way of our parent way of disciplining the kid back home is like kind of totally completely different. And
Yeah.
then most of the parents actually got into like trouble with the law and stuff here because of that, because they don't understand the culture or like regulation here. Yeah, That's one thing.
I know we have so many things to share, and we've been talking for a long. But let me share one last thing because I think it's funny. One of the neighbor that I know, he used to work for school, as a liaison interpreter, and he told me that one day the Korean students show up without underwear, and it is normal back home. We don't have enough, so it's not like everybody wear underwear. So, the teacher saw that, and she just the teacher saw that, and they just became so serious, they wanna think that, oh, maybe the parents negliges the kid or whatever. So, and he tried to explain to them, it is not like that. It is not like they don't care about their kid or like they negliged them. The kid, they just don't have their underwear, and probably the parents too, they may not have underwear. So I think that's funny. So they understood, the culture, differences, it's just sometimes it's not the Korean kid, all of them wear underwear. Maybe these days now, but back then, maybe when they're 5 to 10, I don't remember I don't remember myself wearing underwear at those ages, and my brothers, and we just don't have it, we just don't have, if you have one piece of clothes, that's more than enough back home. So that is the thing. So
I think one more thing would be like the sandal.
mhm.
A lot of teacher or staff in school would reach out to the parent when they see especially the Korean student with sandal during winter. I think they would how we were in the camp, whatever convenient, how we grew up, whatever convenient, sometimes even without shoe. And the most the shoe that we regularly wear is sandal. It's so convenient for us to just get out, and you would have to struggle tying shoe or just putting the shoe in and stuff. That's one thing that I think might have shocked other cultures to see. To most of the kids to still wearing sandal during winter.
Yep. A lot of Korean older women here, we live in Minnesota, and they just wear sandal outside, and I took them to doctor appointment. They were so worried. They was like, do they need a winter coat? Do they need boots? No, they have plenty. They just don't wear it. So I know, I appreciate my culture more than before, because when I live in US, and I don't know, I just love my culture, and I value it, and I love the way we are.
I agree with you. I don't think I'll ever want to lose my culture value.
Yeah.
The respecting elders and all those stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna say there's another cultural shock is when speakers are talking or our parents talking, we don't look at them, we don't do eye contact. So if we do an eye contact, it shows that we don't respect them. But here we have to do eye contact and looking at them to show our respect. And I remember there's a time that was pretty early when I first came to United States. I don't speak English, so I was attending to school. I was in ESL class, so I'll go to the other school for ESL class and then come back for a normal regular class. And then my teacher was because we are taking the bus, so the bus is late. So I came back, and then the teacher was asking, "Where you come from?" I said Burma, and then all of my classmates are laughing. And I'm like, what? Where are they laughing? Of course, I'm come from Burma. And then later on, when I realized, she tried to ask me where am I late?
Yeah.
Next is and then she said, okay, go back to your seat. So I go back, and then she started to lecture. I didn't make an eye contact, and then she was yell at me. She was yell at me really loud. So she asking me to do eye contact. So it's showing that I'm listening to her, respect her, those kind of stuff.
Yeah. I got into those kind of embarrassment a couple of times to talk to like my professor, and I did not make eye contact, and like they thought like I was disrespectful to them. But actually, it's just like I've been in like my culture for a long time, so it's just like it is already in my mind. So it's just like sometimes I forgot that yes, I have to make eye contact. I just thought, oh, I was being like respectful to them. So yeah. Speak Korean. For those who are not Korean, for those who are Korean speaker, no, I want to explain to you guys, no, this channel is to get our youth to speak out and to share with like people who are outside of our culture who do not speak our language. So I apologize if you guys don't understand. Don't misunderstand us. Because I know like all of them speak Korean very well. We just wanna like uh, share our culture and our experience with people who want to know our culture but don't understand our language. So that is the reason. Okay, now so we're gonna wrap up today's discussion. I think we all doing a great job sharing our experience, and I'm glad having all of you here. And all the viewers, thanks for tuning in with us today. We have more discussion coming up every Saturday at 8 p.m. And we have like the youth, they will be like sharing their experience and everything. And we will try to share not only our experience, maybe we get into like what is going on in Burma and also like college experience because our Korean community and it will benefit our Korean community, especially the youth and also people who want to learn and understand about our culture. So please don't forget to subscribe on KTL Connect. It is a new YouTube channel, and if you guys want to share with your friends or you have like different community people that want to know about your culture, you can definitely share this channel with them and give us thumbs up and what we need to improve or what kind of topic you guys want to listen. Write comments in there. Thank you and see you guys next week. Uh,